What's up guys, it is StarFlorge here, and today I am bringing you a brand new build video, and today this is the two-handed unkillable champion, the one-shot build. Now, the reason this is the one-shot build is because this is the build you will see in my videos where I get the insane damage one-shots of like 500,000 damage, and obviously when we get to the next 600 subscribers I will be trying to break 600k damage, and then so on and so on, and I think we'll keep this a routine thing for all of you out there. But anyway, let's get straight into this build, which you will never die and be able to deal a ton of damage. So obviously we're going to start off in champion, but quickly I forgot to mention this is a level 27/26 for human build. So let's just quickly get back to the build. In champion we're taking line in the sand just to get down, and we're going to start on the left, which is the key to this build. Obviously you're going to start off with the bulwark, where maximum guard bonus is increased by 25%, and this helps a ton because we are kind of relying on guard and a lot of armor to keep us alive. That's why Adamant also helps a ton, because now we've got 20% bonus armor. So now we've got 20% bonus armor and 25% extra guard. You can already see going down the champion tree as a warrior, you basically are unkillable just by this one tree, and it is insane. It's a very good warrior tree, and now because of To the Death you can deal a ton of damage. You have a range of 15 meters, so when you cast it you will fire kind of a roar, a taunt to the enemy, which has a range of 15 meters. If you go out of that 15 meters while you are connected, because you get connected when you taunt them or whatever, if you go out of that range then it will break. So try and stay within 15 meters of your target that you are going to want to at some point destroy. Now what it does is every second there is a 5% increase to the damage you deal to that enemy, but also the damage that that enemy deals to you. And as you can see, it's the enemy damage output and taken. So that enemy will basically just take 5% more and deal 5% more every single second, and that stacks up. So at 2 seconds it'll be 10%. 3 seconds it's 15%, and so on and so on. And this has a cooldown time of 32 seconds and a cost of 35 stamina. Now we are taking the upgrade on guard, which means while it is active, your guard improves as your target takes damage. So this is really nice, so that when you do get to the point where they are dealing a ton of damage and you want to just go and destroy them, you will then eventually get the guards from hitting them. So if you don't one-shot them, you'll have enough guard to then keep surviving. You can take Who's Next, because it means when they die, which they always will, you get a 30% damage bonus for 10 seconds. But I prefer the On Guard, because the whole point of this build is to be able to survive a massive amount of time and then destroy enemies. It works fine against normal mobs, but also it works so nice against things like dragons. If you're in a long fight, if you're in a boss fight, odds are you can just put this on the start, never die, and then towards the end, because of your guard and armor, which meant you survived, you will just be able to turn around and one-shot them. So that is what To the Death does. Then on the right, it's resilience, which means when enemies hit you, you have a 5% chance just to stun them for 2 seconds. Then we're going to Unyielding, which is an insane passive, which is why you are basically unkillable, is because if you would die, you will become invulnerable for 5 seconds, and that's when you drop below 5%. So if you are going to just get one shot for 5 seconds, you will instead become invulnerable, and at this point you will only have a tiny amount of health. So this is the point where you can pot up or just gain tons of guard again. But then you will also take Walking Fortress, which means when you activate it for 8 seconds you take no damage, and this has a cooldown of 32 seconds. We are taking the upgrade Siege Breaker, and the reason that this is because every attack that strikes you while you are invulnerable, you get more guard. So basically, for being invincible, it just gives you more guard, making you more invincible, if you can even get that far. Now moving to the left, we are going into Vanguard, which is again very, very key. We are going into the War Cry, which it lasts 4 seconds, and that's the taunt on you. You will generate 20% guard per enemy hit by Warcry. This has 24 seconds cooldown time, and only costs 35 stamina. We're taking the upgrade Call to Arms, which means for 10 seconds you will get 200% armor bonus, basically making you more indestructible. Pretty much. Then we're going to Charging Ball, which deals 150% weapon damage. You gain 10 guard per enemy hit by this, cooldown time of 8 seconds and costs 5 stamina per second. Now basically with Charging Ball you can charge as long as you want, as long as you've got the stamina, and you can hit as many enemies as you want. Now we're taking the upgrade Gore and Trample, which means once you've finished it, your next ability will cost no stamina. So when you are kind of in the midst of battle and you don't really need the Charging Ball for anything, Gore and Trample makes Charging Ball a really key spell, because there are those times where you've kind of just had to use everything and you're low on stamina. You can just Charging Ball at 5 stamina and then instantly your next spell will just be free. Then we're taking It'll Cost You, which means 50% of the damage you take is returned to the enemy. Then down to Livid, another key spell, duration of 15 seconds, area of effect of 5 meters, and you can get 5 stacks. I've done this quite a lot. Basically, per enemy in this area of effect, you will get 10% reduced damage, and obviously that can only go up to 5. So if there are 6 enemies, 7 enemies, 8 enemies, you will only get 50% damage reduction, but if there are 2, you will only have 20%. Also, you will get damage bonus increased by 10% per enemy hit. So when you have Livid on and you hit an enemy, it will go up by 10%. This works by each individual enemy hit. So you can't just hit one over and over and over again and therefore then get 50 stacks. It's kind of you've got to do it for the specific mob. That has a 32-second cooldown, so a lot of these have large cooldowns. But we're taking the Still Standing, which gives you 20% guard for each nearby enemy, making you again even further indestructible. If you have more talents, I would say definitely go for Untouchable Defense, because then you get an extra 25% guard, giving you overall 50% guard, which is insane. Then we're going into Battle Master. We're taking Grappling Chain just to get down to Crippling Blows, which means your crits reduce their damage by 15% for 10 seconds, and that can stack. Then we're going into the Combat Roll, which has a cooldown time of 2 seconds, cost of 20 stamina, and we're taking the upgrade Coming Through, which deals 250% weapon damage, but for some reason it is just insane and deals so much damage, and is basically a necessity for most warrior builds, and it's just great in this build. Then we're going to take a Coup de Grace, which means any enemies that are stunned or knocked down, you will deal 30% damage, and this works really well with Pummel Strike that I'll show you that we get later. Then we're taking the Horn of Valor, which means for 10 seconds you and your allies will gain 15% damage and armor bonus, making you deal more damage and take less damage. It only has a cooldown time of 18 seconds, so you can get it up a lot. It has a 35 stamina cost, but we are going the Fortifying Blast. What this means is whoever has a Horn of Valor on, so it can be all of your allies as long as they are close enough to you, each time you or they deal damage, that person that dealt the damage will get 10% guard. Lastly, we're going into Two-Handed Weapon, where we take a Block and Slash just to get down to Flow of Battle, which again doesn't really mean much in this, to get down to Pummel Strike, which deals 500% weapon damage. I have realized something, and someone brought this up a while ago, which has really confused a lot of people. Now, Pummel Strike actually has a base damage of 300% weapon damage, but for some reason now, some spells will display the bonus, because I have taken Lightning Jab, which increases the damage by 200%, and you can see the Pummel Strike says 500% weapon damage. Now, I believe it just updates it so you don't have to keep looking back and forth to work it out. So with the upgrade, you will deal 500% weapon damage. You have a stun duration of 3 seconds, cooldown time of 20 seconds, and a cost of 35 stamina. However, Lightning Jab also reduces that by 4 seconds. So there you go, guys. That is the build. As I say in pretty much every video, you can customize the build if you want, and if you go a higher level than what I have said and what I have taken, just take every passive you can, because they give you extra attributes and usually give you nice passives anyway. So now we have got through this phase, let's get into the combat that everyone loves to see. What's up, guys? Why am I doing the intro here again? Anyway, we are back at the combat, and before we get in, I want to quickly show you how to use it. We use the buffs Horn of Valor and Livid 24/7 as much as you can. Warcry to taunt enemies, gain guard, gain armor, basically survivability. Use Pummel Strike all the time if you can. Combat roll all the time if you can. Charging Ball is only to initiate or just gain a free spell. Walking Fortress, only use it when you don't have Unyielding passive available. To the Death, the main key spell. We are, in general, just going to use it on the highest health target. Usually bosses, dragons, people like with shields or whatnot, they are the ones that you will usually use To the Death on, so that they can just die because they are annoying. Unless there is someone that needs to die in a group, in which case use it on them, because your group will also deal more damage to these people. So that is it. Let's just get straight into the combat. And where's my unyielding buff gone? Where's it gone? Where has it gone? Come back to me. It's there. It's not there. Anyway, let's go and get into this. Let's go. Let's just go. Not that way. Here we go. Now it should finally be fine. So here we are, guys. We're going to start off by using To the Death on the captain, then focusing down the squidgy archers. We don't need to use To the Death on the archers because they are so squidgy. You can see I've used Livid here, but I haven't used anything else because really at this point there were only the 2 archers. Now I charge a ball through them, getting a ton of guard through all the rest of the mobs, and then I've used all of my other buffs, therefore giving me more armor, more defenses, maintaining my guard, and letting me survive this onslaught of quite a few mobs. We are combat rolling through them a lot of the time, using Charging Ball to gap close, and you can see the guard there actually died from me just combat rolling. Charging Ball here, good gap close there because they were far away. Again, just combat rolling to the enemy just to gap close and going through them. And you can see here there is a quite high priority target because he's got a ton of guard on, which I will soon challenge. Charging Ball through them, using my buffs to keep me alive, sustained up, and that is pretty much it. There isn't much more to the build. You maintain your buffs, use combat roll, pummel strike a lot, and then To the Death the main priority target. Hope that actually for you guys is enough. It was enough for me. I know it is. It's really simple build. Just go and test it yourself. It is fun. But we are going to go quickly skip to the point where we are just fighting the last boss. So the guard has just died and we are on the last boss, and this boss is an assassin that can deal insane amount of damage if he gets the right spells off. So I've been using Charging Ball and combat roll to get around him. Stunning him here, I should have been combat rolling to be able to get more damage off on him, but as you can see I'm dodging pretty much all his attacks. I did a good Charging Ball, however he ran away, escaped, and I could see his shadow because he does get a small outline in the background, letting me combat roll into him, so he comes out stealth, pummel strike, combat roll, Charging Ball, and that finishes him off, as you could see. It is a very simple build when it comes to it. So guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this build as much as I do. Leave a like, comment below, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you next time. We are back once a motherfucking again.